Hello and welcome back to Mary's Vine, sort of. And thank you for participating in our first ever virtual wine dinner, where we take great wine and great food and put them in your capable hands in the comfort of your own home. Tonight we are starting with a Santorini Assyrtiko, brought to you by Argos Estate. This is a very fresh, effervescent wine. This is a 2019. It's meant to be consumed young and cellared no longer than 5 years. It's all about fresh, as it is with the Mediterranean Isles. And paired with that, we have a black sea bass with an Israeli, also known as pearl couscous. This is done in a way that's very light and refreshing, almost as if you were on the coast of Santorini itself, and the wine is no different. If you give it a good swirl and smell into it, you get lots of lemon and grass to it, almost like you were in a New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, but the nose kind of gives way to a little bit of a Gewürztraminer. Assyrtiko is a grape that you may be familiar with, but for those that aren't, it is native to the Greek island Santorini, and it is meant to be a very fresh and vibrant, youthful expression of wine. So if you just give it a good swirl and dig your nose in there, if you remember the basics of blind wine tasting, even though you know what the wine is, you can still use those. You work down your face, so we're going to start by examining it with our eyes. If you put it up to a white background, if you're pale enough after the winter like I am, you can see through and see that it is a very clear wine. And one of the reasons for that is an all stainless steel aging and fermentation process. You're not going to get any oak fluence in here. And between the varietal and the lack of oak, it's a very, very pale straw yellow. Next, we're going to move down to the nose, give it a swirl. Dig right in there. This is one of the favorite parts of this wine, even more fun than drinking in some respects. It is just incredibly rich youthfulness. I know that sounds like a contradiction of terms, but you can kind of see what I mean. Like I was saying, it almost lends itself to Gewürztraminer. But the nose, after the Gewürztraminer, kind of fades a little bit and you start getting a bright lemon acidity. And then you move down into your palate. We worked our way down your face. We moved from the nose down to the... And it's very fresh. Have a bite of sea bass right before you take some of this. And the lemon that was drizzled over the top of the sea bass, that was one of your final steps. It's going to blend quite harmoniously with this wine. The acidity is matching. It's not fighting each other. It's going with it. Most people think that paired wine has to be very multi-dimensional and the wine and the food have to go in separate directions, but it couldn't be further from the truth. If the wine and the food feel as though they are melding into each other, that's when you know you've hit that sweet spot. The pearl couscous done in a vegetable broth is going to bring on a kind of subtle creaminess, which will help to balance out the acidity a little bit, just because the lemon and the lemon inside of the palate could be a little bit overwhelming if you take a bite of the two items and throw a little bit of vegetable medley in there and then drink the wine. You'll really enjoy the trio and the harmony that can be brought about with perfectly paired wine and food. So cheers.